Hey everybody, today we're going to do the tear down, maintenance, and reassembly of this model 220J Coleman mantle lamp. This particular lamp shows a date code having been assembled in February of '79. The J had a plastic cap with accessories on the bottom, long since gone. This one contains an igniter that may contain one or more aftermarket parts on it. We're going to take this out, clean it, and reinstall it. If you just picked up a lamp and don't know the state of it, or you're having problems with your lamp, this will be something you might want to do. And this is not a museum piece. This is an everyday use emergency lamp that we use in Florida for hurricanes. We got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. This lamp conservation / restoration is part of a continuing series to keep Coleman appliances working, not on the shelf, so that they can be used and enjoyed for years to come. Click on the link on the top right to take you to the playlist for this series. The screw that secures the top seems to be jammed, but there's no need to force it. Spray some penetrating oil on this and walk away for a little bit. Let that set in. When I come back later, it should be loosened. It's definitely a better method than breaking things. Came off without any issues. And with that, we could slide the top right off. Before we go any further, I'd like to move this outside to remove the old mantles. Pull out the glass. We'll store it off to the side safely. Now these have spring-loaded holders that could be pulled separated to be loosened to drop these, but I want to drop them into a container so we could see how much of the particulate matter gets loosened. So I'm going to do it with a screwdriver to knock this off. But if they were already damaged, as would mostly be the case, and you would have just knocked these off, we'll see how much of that matter would actually be detached. So I'll take this one off. I'll just do the same thing on the other side, just knocking off that bracket. If you look on the left side, you can see all that small fibrous material. This is why you do this outdoors. Now I'm going to blow it out. Outdoors, of course. Put that glass back on. Indoors, we continue removing that glass as if the mantles didn't exist on here. And we'll inspect the glass for any damage. If there's any damage or cracks, stress cracks, whatever, especially around the bottom of the glass or the top of the glass, use it as a showpiece. Get a new glass. Don't bother trying to reuse it. It's not worth it. This model has a cover with a jam nut right here. We'll use a 7/16. First, we'll turn the tip cleaner to the up position. As we're in no rush and we don't know the condition, we'll spray a little bit of penetrating oil on the jam nut to loosen it. Grabbing the lantern firmly, we'll turn the nut anti-clockwise and break tension on it, and then we'll just loosen it with our fingers. Just slide it up. As we lift away the nut, we could see where the generator meets. We could slide up this whole generator, and in the generator we see a rod connecting to that eccentric piece where the cleaner is, and there's a hook at the end. We just slide that hook right out of the hole like so, and the whole generator and that rod come down and slide out of the unit as one single piece. I'll demonstrate how that piece moves up and down as I turn the cleaning handle. Turn it down, goes down, and then I'll just leave it back in the up position. This rod has the cleaner all the way at the end. As I remove it, you see a very fine needle. Important that this needle doesn't become damaged. To try and focus on this. There it is. So put it off to the side in a place where it won't get damaged. There's nothing further in here to disassemble, so we'll put this to the side. I'm going to remove this starter now. I'm going to use a 9/16 on mine to remove this. And it's already kind of loosened, so I'm just going to loosen this a bit more and just pull it right off. We'll deal with this part later. Certain models have this plate and bolt here, as you see. I'm going to remove this bolt now with the 1/2 inch. Once loosened, I'm able to just remove it with my fingers, and this bolt holds everything together, as we'll see. I could lift this entire top off in its entirety. You can see that this round plate is actually also a separate piece. There it is. This is a bit rusty. And here's the unit without that plate. And this piece is permanently affixed. It's not screwed on. A small screwdriver removes the screw that holds on the knob and placard. The cleaner knob is brought to the halfway position, and the metal is gently bent in an oval so it could be slid off the cleaner and then slid off the main knob and then it is removed. Before we go any further, I would highly urge people to consider not opening the valve for the fuel or the cleaner unless it is necessary after a test, for the risk of breaking the packing. If you break the packing, you're going to have to repack it, and that's going to be extra effort that may not be required. They look like this if you haven't seen them. Before I get further into testing, I'm just going to clean the top of this because this is nasty. So now I'm going to reattach the knob with a flathead screw. Make sure that the knob is fully closed. It's worth repeating, make sure there's no fuel in the canister. So we're going to test out multiple systems at once, really starting here with the pump and the air tightness of the unit. And as I'm pumping it up, I could already feel that the pump is only working about 50% of the time, and depending on how I deflect this pump, it's not working at all. You can hear that. So I know there's an issue here. I know that 9 times out of 10, if the leather's not damaged, it's just going to need to be oiled. So we're going to pull the pump apart and have a look at that now. With a pair of pliers, I'll pull this retainer clip out from one side and then just fall out of the other side. This allows the pump to be released from the unit. And it's apparent that the leather's dry and simply needs to be oiled. So we'll do that, but let's take a look inside. I look inside here all the way down to the valve, absolutely immaculate. There's no dirt whatsoever in here. I just use Rem oil or something like that I've had luck with. But I'm going to just put a little oil on this leather, let it soak in, and just install the pump right back in, see if the problem clears up. I imagine it will. Now replace the retainer ring, lay it in on one side, and then reinsert it with pliers on the other side. Trying the pump out now. Now it works like brand new. No problems at all. We could continue now, having addressed the pump issue, to pressurize the tank. After waiting several minutes and opening up the valve, shows that the check valve in the pump is good. Also, the valve is airtight for the main fuel valve, as well as the gas cap. So now the cleaner knob is turned in the up direction, and the cleaner is carefully inserted through the generator. The hook inserted back into place. With everything aligned, the nut is screwed back down into position and tightened. It's hard to see, but you can see that needle coming up through the hole when I push it in the up position. You can hear it though if I open up the valve and use that needle to disrupt the airflow. Knowing we have flow through the system, I'd like to obstruct it with my finger and open it up. And I do hear immediately a leak. I'm trying to find it, and it's just this nut was not fully tightened. Now that it's fully tightened, I open it up all the way, and I'm listening for leaks anywhere in the system. This is why I didn't want to open up any of the packing and cause any problems. You can see now that the only holes when I remove my finger. Everything here is airtight under pressure. So it seems okay. So we could just clean out these parts without taking them apart any further once we remove it. If you do have leaks that requires replacing the packing, you could click a link on the top right corner. In my other video shows that being replaced. We'll take those pieces back off again now, and we'll continue with disassembly. Locking the unit up in the soft jaws of a vise. Make sure that it's fully secure. And I'll be twisting from the container to break it free. Give it a couple turns while it's on the vise, then remove it. We can see that it's pipe thread, progressively pitched. I'm just going to unscrew it, remove it now. And that is some bad condition right there. This needs a cleaning. I'll remove the pump now as part of the normal order of operations, removing that clip as I did before, and sliding the pump right out of the unit. Unscrew the fuel cap, and have a look under it once it's removed. Taking a look at that seal, and that looks pretty good. A look inside the container with a light shows that it is not too bad for its age. Probably a little bit of junk in there, that's it. So I'm going to use a funnel, stick it in the middle, and we're going to pour some white gas in there, some Coleman fuel. Not too much, maybe just a quarter of the way or less. Covering both holes. I'm going to shake it and agitate the can. I just want to take a look, make sure nothing comes through here. That looks good. Shake it again. Misdirection look and still dry. That's good. Keep shaking it. And this is my working and testing fuel. I pour it right back into my container through a coffee filter, and we'll see what we caught. Yeah, some debris as expected, but definitely acceptable. This is good enough for me. Apply a little penetrating oil right here. Let it sit. And lock this piece into the soft jaws of a vise. Then I'll loosen this bolt with a 3/8 wrench. Get it started with a couple turns. Then turn the rest with my fingers. Then get it out of the vise back on the bench and continue it the rest of the way. This piece will slide off, allowing access to this long pin and spring, which we will now pull out of here. And that's the tear down of this piece. Shining a light through as expected shows no blockages. Pull the spring off of the pin, and I'm going to clean this up a bit. There's some oxidation and dirt on here, using the metal polish, just being careful not to bend it. Cleans up rather easily. This spring is clean. I like to give it a little bit of a stretch, just to stretch it out slightly. If it wasn't clean, I'd hit it with carb cleaner to clean it. If the rungs of the spring are touched and they're not stretched enough, it's a good guide. Place it back on the unit as I had removed it. This piece, I'm just going to polish the very bottom, and I'll show you why. I'll put a protective piece of tape around that end, chuck it up into a drill, and then I'll polish it just like this. That makes quick work of this type of polishing. This pump, as determined earlier, was perfectly fine. I'm just cleaning some of the grime off of it, nothing more around that spring, in the corners and under the top cap. If the leather was determined to be no good, I would have picked up a new piece from old Coleman parts. The knob will be clean just like everything else for good measure. This looks like Bakelite. The generator portion in this particular model doesn't look like one that comes out of the tube, and I'm not willing to take it out. If it's not blocked, I'm going to leave it alone. The needle with the cleaning tip on the other hand can be cleaned, just paying very close attention to the end needle, not to break it or get stabbed by it. I brought these two pieces outside for paint stripping. I'm going to tape up all the holes here on the bottom piece. I'll tell you the top piece, it's only really being tested because I believe it's a ceramic and it's not paint, so the paint strip is going to have no effect. This is just for test purposes. The purpose of this tape is just to keep the paint stripping chemical from getting inside the container. All sealed, I apply the paint stripper all over the paint everywhere. After I get a coat of this on there, I'm just going to walk away for about 20 minutes. Then I'll apply a little more as necessary and wait a little bit longer, and then I'll come back. Being sure not to forget the bottom either. Sometime later, I'll start testing with a wire brush, and you can see I'm not even scraping, I'm just touching the paint, and it's falling right off, and this is what I was looking for. This will be a tremendous help when it comes time to do the sandblasting. I don't want to be sandblasting this paint off. So this is exactly what I was going for. So on the left, completely remove the paint. On the right, zero effect. I'm collecting this paint now so it could be thrown away into the trash. Here's the top piece after rinsing. Zero effect of the paint stripper. And here's the result of the canister. 99% of the paint has been removed successfully. Tomorrow's powder coat day at the Bug Ranch, so we're going to take the canister down to Jason. And that concludes this chapter. In the next chapter, we're going to get into powder coating, painting, rebuild, and testing of the unit. I hope you enjoyed this video. When the next video comes out, a link will be posted in the top right. Hit that like button down below, helps me a lot when you do, and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this when they come out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?